Well, I'm not surprised, but I am surprised at the same time. West Virginia players have reached out to me over the last week, and they think they're really damn good.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host, and this is Locked On West Virginia, baby. It's game day. What do you know about it, guys? It's time. It's finally time. We're mere hours away from the kickoff of the 2025 season. The return of Rich Rod, the prodigal son, is back, baby. Are you ready? Because I am ready to watch West Virginia versus Robert Morris. Bobby Moe, let's go, baby. This episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by Game Time, folks. And that's right, we're talking about Game Time on this episode, and happy to do so because right now with Game Time, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. I am so happy this day is here. We've been waiting for months and months and months and months and months, literally over half a year, for this day to finally happen since Rich Rod got his job back in December-ish. So obviously there's a lot of excitement in the air. Season tickets are well beyond sold out. The game is going to be close to sold out. And Robert Morris is going to run into a buzzsaw. And so I've been texting some of the players, some of the guys I'm cool with, trying to get their feel for what this team is, like obviously. And I had a couple say, hey, look, we don't really know because we haven't played anybody yet. And then I had some saying, look, we'll get to it in a second. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a couple screenshots of what two players said to me over the last couple of days about this team, just to kind of give you guys a feel for how they're feeling about it. And then in the next segment, we're going to talk about today's game a little bit more, just a couple of things to talk about, a couple of things to watch for, and then we'll get out of here. Especially since game day's on, I know people probably want to watch Lee Corso's last pick 'em and all that. So, all right. So like I said, I've been messaging players, trying to get a feel for what's what with this team. I never try to put these guys in compromised positions and that kind of thing. But basically, the way I presented it to them was this: hey, I'm trying to do a show for how some of you guys feel about this version of the team. Some of them have been obviously on championship caliber teams. Some have been on national championship caliber teams. Some have been on conference championship teams at the Division I level. And all throughout, some have been really bad teams, So I tried to message one guy from each group that I could find out. Like I messaged a guy that's been on nothing but bad teams or average teams. I messaged a guy that's hardly ever lost a game. So there's a lot, right? And I got a bunch of mixed answers. Unfortunately, man, I couldn't figure out, I couldn't get all the screenshots in time. That's what was taking me so long. I was having to go back. I'm like, God, man, how many messages do I have with some of these guys? And, it's just gotten to the point to where it was like, okay, I've got like 2 or 3. I might as well just run with that and tell you guys about the rest, right? So that's what we're going to do. So these first 2 screenshots are from 2 different people. I just took them side by side. The way I downloaded them was side by side. I've obviously removed the names. I mean, there's no way I could include that, but I wanted to, obviously, but I promised them that I would keep it anonymous. So on the right, this is last night. It says the night before the game, but just give it to me straight. What are you seeing the past few weeks since the last update? Did Rich Rod let up on you, by the way? Talking about as on the team, right? He said, what's good, bro? We really damn good. Could be scary. I've been on conference championship teams, and we've got everything we need here. I'm not being biased. We got more talent than a lot of teams, and I've been on 2 Power 5 teams. We're going to run through these boys tomorrow, and Ohio too. I got to run, though. Hit me up next week. On the left side, totally different conversation. He said, I think we're going to be extremely good. but off the record for sure, we are really good. So that's awesome to hear. What about the defense? And he said good and pretty deep. Other conversations I'd had, which I was really frantically searching for, was that where the headline came from. He said, I think we're championship good. And I didn't get any negative. Now, let's just keep it real here. Let's take it with a grain of salt. What are they supposed to say, right? We suck. I get it. Like, I'm not sitting here trying to feed you guys BS. What I'm trying to say is this is a competent group that believes in themselves. And Rich Rod, what has he been saying all offseason? You can win a national championship at West Virginia. These guys don't believe any less. They believe this. And I believe that it's the biggest turnaround within the program that I can see from the last era to this one is the belief from us, the expectations from us, and the belief from them, the expectations from them, and I just think there's just something different. So I don't know what it is about Neil that didn't inspire this. Because trust me, I asked a bunch of questions of those teams as well. And I never got this much positivity, but it could just be a result of the way Rich Rod coaches, and maybe they're a 6 or 7 win team. Who knows, right? But I think at the end of the day, what we have to look for is the competence of the team, like I said, and how they're feeling as a group. And, I'd ask some questions about the O-line. I asked some questions about the defense. I asked questions about a lot of stuff. So, there's a lot. I did get permission from everybody, as long as I keep them anonymous, to share these messages. So it's not like I'm doing it without their knowledge or anything. And I try not to bug them, man, because they're so busy, so tired, I'm sure, and it's, I feel like we, as a fan base, we haven't gotten a lot, right? This offseason, we haven't gotten a lot from inside the locker room. And it's something I try to work at. I try to be good at, but it's a delicate balance. You're always wondering if you're bothering somebody. You're always wondering if you're trying to put somebody in a compromised position. You're always wondering if, they're just bullshitting you. So like, there are all kinds of things that go through your mind. My overall thought process is this, though. This team believes they're good. And I think they're going to believe that way till proven otherwise. And one loss isn't going to do it. They're going to have to get beat down over and over and over again before this team would let up. I think this team is going to be a very resilient team. I think they're going to have its moments. I do. I think that, do I think they're a championship good? Not in the preseason. They could change my mind in a couple weeks, right? By week 3, I think we're going to know what we have. Next week is going to give us a really good barometer. If we beat an Ohio team, pretty soundly, then that gives us an idea that we might be better than we thought. If we struggle with them like Rutgers did, then we know we're about as good as Rutgers, and that's not very good. So we're going to know soon. And it's not apples to apples comparisons anyway. There's so many different pieces to a game. Obviously, we'll be on the road at Ohio, so it's probably going to be closer by just generally, probably at least in the first half. And they got a quarterback that I would love to have, boy. But anyway, I thought I would share that with you guys. I thought it was cool. It's game day. So I thought, you know what, this would be something fun to share with everybody, to get everybody a little pumped up for today, right? Because here we are. I mean, we're basically 3 hours away, 3.5 hours away. I mean, it's time, right? So what are we going to look for today? What are some things that we need to look for? What are some things I'm looking for? I think that's what we talk about next. We'll talk about it in a second. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Game Time, guys. We talk about Game Time all the time because college football is back, and I couldn't be more excited. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands, there's just nothing like it, man. And let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel a lot more like a battle than the game itself. There's endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping up at checkout. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees at checkout. What you see is what you pay. I pulled up Game Time, and in just a couple taps, I saw amazing deals. I'm talking about West Virginia games for as low as $25. And I love the app because it's so streamlined, guys. It's real easy to get through a couple taps, like it says. So take the guesswork today out of Game Time, out of buying tickets today with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account and use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. And remember that the terms do apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off today. Swipe, tap, ticket, go download today. Swipe, tap, ticket, go download today. And ask yourself, what time is it? It's game time. It's segment 2. Let's crack a game day do, guys. And if we end this game in the first quarter, you might as well Baja blast my ass up into the sun. Let's go, boys. What do you say, boys? What do you say, boys? I'm excited, guys. Obviously, I took my blood. I called my mom. I said, I took my blood pressure early today. My blood pressure medicine, I took it early today. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, some things to watch for. First of all, are you excited? Ask yourself some questions if you get a chance here really quick. Ask yourself, am I grateful? Am I showing it? Right? Am I cherishing this time, whether you're watching this game with family or alone or wherever you're at? Make sure you try to stay grateful. There are only 12 of these, no need to be miserable for all of them. Obviously they're going to have its moments where we're going to be unhappy this year, but just when you think it can't get any worse, just remember, holy cow. Rich Rod's back on the sidelines, and this program's heading in the right direction. We're 100% behind him, and he's proven that he can absolutely win. So what are some things we're looking for? Well, I think the number one thing is, and somebody has pointed this out, is probably the O-line. If we're talking about things to be possibly worried about, I think absolutely the O-line is one of those things. No doubt about it. Can the O-line dominate a lesser opponent? A lesser opponent has been told all week it should have no chance in this game. You're running into a buzzsaw. It's Rich Rodriguez's first game. Those are all the reasons their coach is telling them that they can win this game. Hey, look, they're going to be overly hyped up, and they could absolutely make a couple mistakes today. So is West Virginia going to be too hyped up, or are they going to be focused? Is it going to be focused rage, intense rage? Is it going to be uber focused, intense rage? Or is it going to be we're scatterbrained because we're too pumped up? I think we have an excellent coaching staff, one of the best in the Big 12. I really believe that. I think they're going to do a good job of getting this team rolling. But I think here's another thing to consider is they're probably going to be fairly vanilla. They're not going to show Ohio anything, and certainly Pitt. That's going to be something to monitor. Can Robert Morris exploit and take advantage of the fact that we're probably going to be vanilla? I think it's a fair question. Now, it's like Rich Rod says, it's not really about what you call, it's about what you can execute. And I do believe that as well. At the end of the day, as long as we just beat up the guy in front of us, if you just beat the guy in front of you, this West Virginia team is going to win soundly today. But yeah, something to watch is how much push does the O-line get? Because it needs to be a lot of push. I need to see Robert Morris guys 3 and 5 yards and up into the backers. That's what I want to see. Anything less is going to make me wonder just a little bit. Number 2, obviously, do we solve and honestly, this should be number 1. I think the O-line is the biggest concern. I think we know where this is going to happen eventually, but can it happen today? Can we solve the quarterback question and just get a guy? Who's going to be the guy for the year? Is it going to be Jalen? Is it going to be Nico? Could Max sneak in? Could Scotty Fox end up being a guy at some point in time? These are all interesting questions. And, I've resigned myself that it could be Jalen. It could be Nico. It could be. I think it's going to be Nico. I think he's going to come out and dominate early. I think Jalen's going to get his snaps. I think we're going to see them all. and we're going to have a lot to talk about, and a lot to debate about. Maybe there's a guy that gets out there that I think personally looks better than somebody you think. Obviously Cam Vaughn is another thing. I think he's just a mismatch, in these next 2 weeks. I think Cam Vaughn can really rack up some big numbers. He's going to be the best player on the field at times today. So Cam Vaughn's a guy that I look to from a receiving standpoint, because we've been told all offseason we're probably this receiver room is as deep as we've ever had in a long time. So can Cam Vaughn get separation and do some pretty ridiculous things with the ball today? And then next week, rolling into Ohio, the last time he played Ohio, he almost had 200 yards, Cam Vaughn. So he's a guy to watch. Obviously, Jaheim White is an obvious one. There's just no question. He's obvious. We have to watch Jaheim White today. And then on the defensive side of the ball, is Fred Perry going to kill a man? Like it's not if, but when Fred Perry kills a man. Can he avoid targeting? Can we avoid, a lot of the things that plagued the last team? Can we get some turnovers? I want to see at least 2 turnovers today from this squad. It may be short of what they want each game, but I think, just seeing a couple turnovers, because if you can get it going early, then you start to expect turnovers. First game, I've always felt this way, and I've said this in a lot of shows. The first game of the year is so important to establish certain things. Listen, we're just a team that creates turnovers, right? You hear teams say that. But if you're not able to turn Robert Morris over, if you're not able to punch the ball out from Robert Morris, if you're not able to pick off Robert Morris's quarterback, how are you going to do it to Parker Navarro? How are you going to do it to Eli Holstein? We've literally got 2 of the best quarterbacks on the schedule coming up in the next 2 weeks. This is a Robert Morris team that replaces literally special teams coach, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, top 6 receivers, top 3 running backs, an entire defense. They've got almost 50 players themselves, and they're recruiting at a lesser level than we are. If we can't go out and dominate this game, there's a lot wrong, right? This should be a Missouri type game. This is what it should be. Missouri won 60-3 or 60-6 yesterday. There's no reason we can't do something similar. And I have high expectations for what this team's going to do in week 1, because Rich Rodriguez is the Bret Hart. He is the Hitman Hart of college football offseason, because it's all about the excellence of execution. That's what it's all about, baby. Can you be the excellence of execution, and can you call the plays that you're good at, and can you dominate the guy up in front of you? And if not, the next guy up will do it, right? So next man up mentality today. Maybe we get some depth chart things figured out. There's battles going on to watch. What position battles do we need to watch? I think the safety room has got one going on. The right corner spot has got one going on between let me make sure I'm looking at the right names here. Let me pull them back up. So if we look at the roster here, let's go to position. All right. So from what I understand, and this is just from my conversations, Jordan Scruggs and Jason Chambers should have a battle going on at right corner. This is just conversations I've had with players now. Say this. I know he's listed behind Michael Coach Jr. Jordan Scruggs is at the corner, but I'm told that Chambers and Scruggs are in a battle for the starting spot at the end of the day. So we had to watch that. Are there going to be some freshmen that do well today, that get in and absolutely kill it? That's something I'm looking for. Obviously, the 3 guys, this is probably the biggest one, should have mentioned it earlier. The 3 guys that got cleared to play, do they play today? Do we see Jeff Weimer? Do we see Ty Edwards? Do we see Justin Harrington? And how big of an impact can they make? There are so many storylines in this first game. It's truly hard to keep track of them all. Think about it. Let's list them all off one more time. Offensive line. It's got to get push. We need to see push in week 1. We've already been told in the offseason that they struggled at times to get push during camp. So we better see it today. Number 2, quarterbacks solved. Can it get solved? Can we just get a guy that we can move forward with and not have to worry about it going forward after this Then we can just say we got backup whoever after that. Cam Vaughn. Cam Vaughn, obviously, can he be the dominant receiver that we think he's going to be? Running back's going to whoever running back is, whoever gets the most carries. Like I think Jaheim White's probably going to be done early. A lot of people predicted he has 200 yards. I don't see that because I think the game could get out of hand without him touching the ball much. It could be a receiver. It could be defensive touchdowns. It could be receiving, a couple receiver catch. Before you know it, you're up 28-0. And what's the use in playing Jaheim a lot and getting him hurt, right? So I think there's a situation where Jaheim might only have 50, 60 yards only because we may not need him today, right? So if we need Jaheim to rush for 200 yards today, I don't know if that's a good thing. I think as a group, we'll rush for a lot of yards. But anyway, I'm not worried about running back. I just want to see us establish a number one receiver. I want to see our quarterback get right on the other side of the ball. I need to see linebackers working great in tandem between Reed Carrico and Chase Wilson. Got to see that happen. I want to see cornerback fluidity, and I want to see that nickel room show out and be the most deep position on the team, or one of the most deep, because I think it is. You've got at least 3 guys there, maybe more. And then there's the surprise guys that were on the depth chart that we all weren't expecting to start. There were some guys on there that we were definitely looking at like, oh, that's one that we didn't expect, right? There was a couple shockers. Chris Filippo, obviously, is another guy that a lot of people are going to be looking at. A true freshman, 6'4", 208 pounds on that nickel room that beat out really good players to win that job, y'all. He really did. Josh Isosa as the number 2 guard. There's another one. And then on the defensive line, how does this pass rush look without Jamoy Robinson? And can we possibly, by any chance or any measure, get him back? That's going to be a big, big story going forward. Braden Siders is going to get pressure today. Curtis Jones Jr. behind him. Marshawn Oxley will get snaps, even though he isn't on there. And there's a lot to watch for. We'll go to break. We'll be right back, guys. We'll put a bow on this one. And going to be really excited to talk about this game after the game. We'll be right back. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Upside, guys. We're talking about Upside on this one for multiple reasons, and none even any remotely more than we love Upside. Upside is one of those gas projects that, well, I mean, if you didn't know, you're going to save money through Upside. It's just the way it is, man. So are you still paying full price for gas? Because stop leaving money behind and get the real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. It is free. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now. Do it right now and start earning cash at the pump today. You can use my limited time promo code football and gain an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just by buying gas you already needed. At first, I thought it was too good to be true. It's actually legit, man. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commute, and you can as well. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, gift card, or Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive by today. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code football for a limited time 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's promo code football. Offers are going to vary by user and location, but make sure you go to upside.com for terms and conditions. All right, guys, we are back here in Locked On West Virginia, segment 3. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited and grateful to be the Locked On West Virginia host. And, kicking off the season as the host of Locked On West Virginia is not lost on me. It's something I'm very grateful for. You guys continue to make me realize how grateful I am for this. I don't take it for granted. Even though I built this channel from scratch, all the way from zero, it was Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. Then it switched to this. You guys make it possible. You show up, you show out, and it's all great. So thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. All right. So for those of you who didn't see earlier, I posted some screenshots of some players that I'd spoken to throughout the last couple of weeks. or last couple days maybe. I can't remember which one of these are. One of them's from last night. These are two things that I was asking about. What are you seeing the past few weeks since the last update? Did Rich Rod let up on you, by the way? And he said, what's good, bro? We'd be really damn good. Could be scary. I've been on conference championship teams, and we've got everything we need here. I'm not being biased. We got more talent than a lot of teams, and I've been on 2 Power 5 teams. We're going to run through these boys tomorrow in Ohio, too. I got to run, though. Hit me up next week. And then the other person said, I think we're going to be extremely good, but off the record for sure, we are really good. I said, that's awesome to hear. What about the defense? Good and pretty deep. So, just a couple of things. And obviously I couldn't find them all, and I was rushing to get the show. It doesn't really matter. This is a confident team. That's what this show is really about. This episode's about is to talk about before the season starts. I just wanted to say there were players that believe this is a championship team. So if this team does turn into an Arizona State or, at least a conference championship contending team, we'll point back to this episode and say, hey, look, we showed the screenshots and they knew they were going to be pretty good before the season even started, regardless of the preseason expectations. Fair? So I think that's going to be fun to look back at. And it's also going to be a great teaching moment, because if they're not, I'll know better the next time I get told by players they think they're going to be really good. I knew when I was in high school, I was on a really bad basketball team. I started on the team. That was probably a good indication. No, but seriously, I was on a pretty bad team, and I knew we weren't that good, right? I knew we had a lot of limitations. I was able to have that a conversation with myself honestly, while always giving 100%, trying my hardest. But there are certain obvious revelations about yourself. Well, I know we have limitations here, and here, right? So we still won some games we shouldn't have won. We still did some things we should have done. But, I want this team to be that damn good, like these guys think so. So, all right, guys, let's see what happens out there today. I will be back in the post game as soon as this game goes off, probably 5 minutes before. If the game's a big blowout, it might even be, depending on who's playing. I mean, if Sincere or anybody that I talk about a lot is in the game, I'll watch it till the end. But if it's a big blowout, we might go live 5 minutes before the game's over. Obviously, I'm looking for Sincere Bowers today. Would love to see him have a big game. It would make me so happy. I think he's got the potential to do it if they give him the ball. Hopefully he's healthy enough to do it. But that's all. I appreciate you guys for joining in. Let's just have a day, man. Watch some college football. Football is back. It's the greatest time of the year, and we're live for it. You can't have any better than that, right? I'll talk to you guys on the next one here in a couple hours after the game. I'm out of here. Let's go Mountaineers, baby. Let's go.